Hello everyone, my name is Nathan. Welcome back to N Channel Media. Today, I'll be talking about Selina Boan in one of her excerpts. It has been a while since I've done one of these English class podcasts. With that being said, as an English 11 assignment, the content that is about to be presented does not necessarily reflect the beliefs or opinions of N Channel Media Inc. I have linked a reference to the BC curriculum down below for your convenience. With that out of the way, sit back, relax, and enjoy the presentation. Selina Boan is a poet from Vancouver, BC. She is of mixed European and Cree descent. She grew up with her birth mother and adopted stepfather, and she studied at Carleton University in Ottawa, where she also resided and worked for a number of years. Having grown up with an adoptive father, Bowen's poetic inspirations come from her wanting to deepen her understanding of her Indigenous ethnicity. She aches at the disconnection from her birth father, whose side of the family is Indigenous. More specifically to the excerpt from All You Can is the Best You Can, Boan expresses her resentment towards the discrimination against her Indigenous community. She also wanted to write a poem to her kokam, or grandmother, who doesn't speak any English, necessitating the need to learn Cree. From All You Can is the Best You Can is an excerpt from Bowen's first published and best-known work, Undoing Hours. In fact, this debut collection of hers received the 2022 Pat Lothar Award, among other prestigious nominations. From All You Can is the Best You Can, by Selina Boan. I once shoved my foot through glass, getting to know my own anger. It's patches of stupid bloody love. Stress is just a socially acceptable word for fear. I'm ashamed of feeling too much. Rivers edges like a cut of laughter. Left too long in the sun, a bloated syringe of time between our kneecaps. I know you want the piece of the story that is clandestine, but I won't give it to you. I am not sorry. Undo word after word that tumbles out a sidewalk. Undo textbooks, the science that renders us invisible. Undo your own heart, pull each vein like unthreading a needle. Hope is half sung Nihiya Wehin in a plaque classroom. Beating my cousin a bolo in lime green. Remember, love, we can draw from all directions. Of time, we can hover and gut ourselves into new stories. Be sad and not sad about it all. So this is a quote by Selina Boan during one of her interviews. Poetry doesn't always have to make sense in order for it to hold emotional weight or feeling. There is quite a bit of truth to this. However, as a result of this type of thinking, all poems contain poetic devices, and Bowen's poems from Undoing Hours are no exception. Interestingly, according to her interview with Rob Taylor on Read Local BC, it was quite the process for Bowen to finalize the structure of her poems. In any case, this particular excerpt of hers primarily contains metaphors, however, it contains many other symbolizations. For example, in the opening of From All You Can is the Best You Can, I once shoved my foot through glass getting to know my own anger. Its patches of stupid bloody love is representative of the author's pain of growing up in a suppressed and discriminated society. Her Indigenous community has never really been cared for, which is what patches of stupid bloody love refers to. Patches of stupid bloody love refers to short-term government solutions that don't solve the long-term issues that Indigenous communities face. Stress is just a socially acceptable word for fear, is used in reference to alcoholism, drug use, and mental health struggles that disproportionately affect Indigenous communities to this day. The Indigenous peoples continue to bear with poor living conditions and ineffective social assistance. Later on in the excerpt, when Bowen writes, I'm ashamed of feeling too much, rivers edges like a cut of laughter, left too long in the sun, a bloated syringe of time between our kneecaps, Bowen expressed her shame of being part of a divisive and rough family situation. Left too long in the sun refers to the way her Indigenous identity was stripped and neglected, and bloated syringe refers to the difficult times that passed by in the absence of her birth father. Additionally, Boan uses an element of repetition towards the end of this excerpt with the use of the word undo. According to Boan herself, one of the premises of Undoing Hours was to explore the concept of undoing. Interestingly enough, in this section of the excerpt, Boan makes use of the second perspective you to refer to the audience or the reader. According to Boan herself, the moments in the poem where I directly addressed the reader became a way to nod towards the absurdity of poem making. This makes sense because many of the poems from Undoing Hours, including From All You Can Is the Best You Can, involved Boan having to reveal her sensitive moments and emotions. The message that Boan sends with this excerpt from her debut collection has much to do with exploring her own identity in the wake of being disconnected from her indigenous ethnicity. She also protests the impact that colonialism had on indigenous people and calls out the government for not doing enough to effectively support indigenous communities. Most importantly, Boan uses poetry as a means to communicate sensitive and intimate stories with her readers, while still being in control of what I share. Last but not least, as specific to From All You Can Is the Best You Can, the ending, to be sad and not sad about it at all, implies that she forgives us for the damage that was already done, but will not forget the lessons learned since and along the way. Finally, Boan wants us, as the readers, to change our antiquated ways of thinking about Indigenous peoples and cultures and to give them the respect and recognition they deserve. Thank you very much for sticking around to the end. I hope you enjoyed the presentation.